So Christians believe in a particular philosophy, which is that all human beings, no matter their religion or politics or race or whatever, that we were all made in the image of God. But why? And what does that mean? And why do they think that? And what parts of the human psyche are in God's image? All of it? Or just the evil? Or just the good? What does it mean? Well, for starters, for everyone who doesn't know, my name is Jake. I'm 17 years old and I've been a Christian for a few years now. So, I had an argument with my brother, and he is not a fan of Christianity, I would say. And he is a firm believer that the term made in God's image is downright despicable because if evil can be done in God's name, that means that God allowed it, and if we're made in His image, that means that He is also evil. Well, why does he think that? I saw a post on Instagram the other day that it depicted the difference between Christians and how Jesus would have truly acted. It said how Christians treat the gay couple next door, and it's them being hateful and telling them to get out of the neighborhood and saying all these horrible things. And then it says how Jesus would treat the gay couple next door, and it's Jesus inviting that couple into his house to have a conversation and loving that couple as he loved himself, as he would love his own father. So that's the popular misconception that I think is around the term made in God's image, is that the evil part is what we inherited from God and not the beauty. So I believe that God is capable of love, and so we are made with love. God is creative, so we are creative. God understands morality, so He gave us the opportunity to understand morality. All these things, that is how we were like, that is how we share our likeness with God. It's not the fact that, we're Christians and we worship Him. It's the idea that every beautiful thing about humanity comes from Him. Now I know the question that you may ask, which is why should we accept the good from God, not the bad? Well, it's because the bad didn't come from God. So on the topic of free will, okay, God gave us free will. Why? So a lot of atheists believe that God giving us free will does not make sense because if He gave us free will and He knew we were going to reject Him, and He knew that rejecting Him meant so He knew that if we gave us free will, we would have the opportunity to reject Him, and He knows that rejecting Him means you go to hell. Why would He give us free will if He wants everyone to be in heaven? Well, it's because if someone puts a gun to your head right now and says, "Love me," right now, love me, like love me, are you gonna love them? No. That's something to keep you alive. That's something to just you're surviving. You're loving for the sake of surviving and not for the sake of loving. So God gives you the opportunity to choose because if He made us all love Him from birth, that wouldn't be real love. You could not earn His affection. You could not truly learn to understand how blessed you are or how we're made in God's image. So the evil in the world is all corruption. At its core, it's corruption. It's corruption of the faith, corruption of morality, and corruption of society. So all of these things are roadblocks that keep you from understanding and worshiping God. That is why I believe free will is a thing in the first place, and why I think evil exists is all a test, all something for us to overcome, for us to still choose Him. I would like to bring out the story of the book of Job, where Job was tested by Satan. He was tested by God, even. And he lost everything. His family was killed in natural disaster. His crops and his land burned down. He lost everything. He grew terribly sick. Boils grew over all of his body. It was horrendous. One of the most difficult books to read in the Bible because you see this wonderful, beautiful man getting absolutely tortured. Why? Well, not a single point in that book did he ever curse God with his lips. Did he ever blame God for his misfortunes? Because he understood you cannot accept the good of God and the good of faith, the good of life, and not also accept the bad. Well, what does that mean? After he he healed of all of his sickness and all his stuff grew back, God rewarded him several times. He got a beautiful family. Again, he got a beautiful family. He got 10 times the amount of land he had before. He had 10 times the amount of cattle. He was rewarded. So because he went through the bad, he learned to appreciate the good more. I think that is representative of everything. I think we can all learn from that, and we could all that is the whole point, is appreciating good because of evil. See, you cannot have light without darkness, and you cannot have good without evil. That is the reason I believe that good exists in the first place. It's because there's evil. And without the evil, we cannot appreciate the good things about life. There is pure evil in the world. But with that, we are comforted in knowing that the only pure good being in the universe, beyond the universe, loves us and wants to choose us. So what does that mean in relation of being made in God's image? So if you have this thought, if you have this idea, if you have this relation in your head, saying that God wants us to choose Him, and we inherited all of God's good traits, then that is the beauty of being made in God's image, is the fact that we have the ability to love, we have the ability to be kind, compassion, none of these things. Humor, that is a major one that me and my dad have talked about. Humor is not necessary for survival. Neither is kindness, neither is compassion, neither is love. None of these things are necessary for survival. Animals have survived for millions of years without it, and they thrive. We do not need love, compassion, kindness, humor. All of these things are reminders of how much God has truly blessed us with His image. And the evil is just the corruption that is trying to turn us away from God. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the answer to why bone cancer exists in children or why natural disasters kill people. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. And I wish I could wrap my head around it, because I ask myself that question all the time. What's his name? Nightcrawler from X-Men. He was talking in an episode of one of the old X-Men shows in the 90s. He was saying, he was talking to Wolverine about God, and Wolverine was like, "Oh, I used to buy into all that stuff, but I've been alive too long. I've done too many things. And what kind of loving God would let men do this to me?" And he flashes his metal claws. And Nightcrawler says something that I love. He says, "Our understanding of God is limited, but we are comforted in the idea that God's love for us is limitless." And I think that encapsulates the idea of God's image perfectly. Despite the fact that we cannot understand why evil exists and why humans choose to do bad things, we understand that our original blueprint from the moment we are born is beauty. At its core, it is beauty, it is kindness, it is compassion, it is love. That is what drives every living being on the planet from the moment they're born, is those things. No matter what. That is the original design. So that is what I think it means to be born in God's image. That is what I think it truly, I think that's really the beauty of Christianity at its core, is that comfort and that idea. I wrote this script in a very short amount of time, and it really isn't a script. I just have like bullet points and stuff, and I just wanted to make this video. I want to get out of the way. My first video on this channel. I plan on making this channel just me talking. That's really just the end goal of it. And if you see in the description of this video, you'll see an email. And that email, anyone can email me and tell me things that they want me to answer, questions. It doesn't even have to be about Christianity. I really don't care. I don't plan on making my next video about Christianity. It can be about anything. Just email me, ask me questions or advice or a story you want me to tell, or anything. I'm going to make another video next week, probably. I'm going to start writing the script. I don't know what it's going to be about. It could be about nothing at all. It could be about God. I'm not sure yet. But I just wanted to introduce everyone to this channel. And I also wanted to give, the opportunity for you guys to email me and tell me what you guys want me to make a video on next. I don't know. I'll be asking my friends and stuff on what videos to make, and I don't really know. I don't know how to do this stuff, but I'm learning. And I plan on learning with you guys. But have a blessed day, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.